Welcome to this in-depth discussion about a recorded dialogue between a master and a disciple. They delve into the topic of bodhicitta, the awakened mind, and the wisdom of liberation. There's a particularly intriguing part of this conversation. The sutra says that bodhisattvas can forever be free from all dangers and calamities of birth and death. The disciple then asks about calamities, which we usually associate with accidents like fires or car crashes. Do the ordinary experiences of birth, aging, sickness, and death also count as calamities? The master's explanation, frankly, overturns our usual understanding. So, in this discussion, we will rely entirely on what the master says in this dialogue to truly understand his view on suffering, why we suffer, and how to achieve liberation. The dialogue begins with the disciple questioning the phrase, obtain the medicinal wisdom of bodhicitta for liberation, and forever be free from all dangers and calamities of birth and death. The master's view is truly unique. He directly points out that compared to sudden accidental deaths like those from fire, flood, or car accidents, the slow, continuous suffering we experience in our daily lives, the gradual aging and the little-by-little decline of bodily functions is, in the master's view, a deeper and more unbearable calamity. What we usually consider a natural death from old age, the process of slowly getting old and our organs and physical strength gradually failing, is actually full of various kinds of suffering. For example, wanting to eat delicious food but your mouth can no longer taste it. This is the suffering of not getting what you want. Or, when people or things you love slowly leave you, this is the suffering of separation from loved ones. When your body still reacts but you can't satisfy its desires, that's the suffering of the five aggregates ablaze. And when you get old and find everyone displeasing, that leads to the suffering of encountering what you resent. The master says that this kind of suffering, accumulated day by day, is more painful than a sudden accident. This seemingly normal process of aging and death is, in fact, filled with continuous suffering. The master further points out that the fundamental cause of this suffering comes from our inner entanglements, our attachment to various people, things, and situations, and that state of being inextricably intertwined. The master also brings up eating habits. He says that our preference for certain tastes is actually acquired through conditioning or habitual learning. We label food as good or bad. It's not inherent in the food itself. He gives many examples, such as some places eating cow dung soup, live frog juice, or even cheese with maggots. We might find these disgusting, but locals consider them delicacies. These are all acquired through conditioning. The master explains that our minds constantly grasp outwards, like a monkey trying to catch the moon, forever grasping but never succeeding, ultimately leaving only continuous craving and loss. So, what is the antidote the master offers? Throughout the dialogue, the master repeatedly emphasizes that liberation is simple. It's about letting go, putting down, giving up. The master says, all dharmas are originally at leisure, only humans stir up trouble. It's our own mind that constantly grasps, entices, and gets entangled, thereby producing afflictions. Therefore, liberation is actually about stopping this internal busywork, no longer grasping outwards. Moreover, the master provides a crucial reminder here, even the Bodhidharma wisdom, the wisdom of enlightenment that we strive so hard to attain, if we cling to it tightly, it too can become a disease, a model, or a form of obstruction. Why can't even wisdom be grasped? Here, the analogy of a mechanic is used, just like a mechanic who, when not repairing, still holds tightly to a wrench. It's not right. So, wisdom here is like a tool, use it when needed, but put it down when not needed. Otherwise, you'll be bound by the tool itself. The conversation then moves to attachment. The master mentions examples like Elon Musk and TSMC in Taiwan to illustrate that ego clinging is also a very serious entanglement. When someone, whether a highly successful person like Musk or some teachers, believes all achievements are solely due to their own efforts, completely ignoring the team, students, environment, and even various contributing factors such as students' talent or tuition fees, they fall into mistaken cognition. A truly wise and awakened person will see that success is a combination of many conditions. Therefore, they will understand gratitude, which the master calls knowing kindness. Thus, generating bodhicitta is about awakening, no longer being held captive by one's own mistaken ideas or afflictions. With wisdom, one can clearly see the truth, thereby breaking free from those delusions, those inverted, untrue thoughts. At that point, you will view birth and death as naturally as changing clothes, no longer seeing them as frightening or painful. He also mentions that holding bodhicitta is like carrying a kind of ancient Indian panacea called Maha-Ayamta. Just the scent of this medicine can make all the poisonous snakes of affliction flee upon smelling it. The master later offers another profound analogy. Humans eat the 100 grains of the earth, but their feet do not leave the ground. This analogy suggests that when we cling tightly to something, we become bound by it and lose our freedom. He even says that we are not bitten by the snake of affliction. Rather, we ourselves go and bite the snake, resulting in our own poisoning, and yet we still cling tightly to that snake. This implies that the problem fundamentally isn't with the external snake. What truly binds us is often not the so-called snake of affliction itself, but rather our own active grasping and entangling with that affliction, causing ourselves great suffering without even realizing it, and instead blaming external people, things, or environments. Therefore, the method of liberation pointed out by the Master is to clearly see this point, and then actively let go, put down, and give up. Let's now summarize the core insights conveyed by the Master in this teacher-disciple dialogue. The seemingly smooth process of daily aging brings deeper suffering than instantaneous death because it is continuous. The root of suffering comes from our inner entanglements and attachments. Therefore, the method of liberation is to let go, put down, and give up this inner entanglement. Even the Bodhidharma wisdom itself cannot be tightly grasped, otherwise, it becomes a demonic act, not a Buddha's act. The key is to awaken and see the truth clearly. This also includes recognizing that the concept of self is illusory. Only then can one truly break free from suffering and attain liberation. Finally, here's a question extended from the Master's words for your consideration in your life. What are some things or concepts that you take for granted, or even consider to be good, that you are currently clinging to tightly? Like the Master's analogy of eating the 100 grains of the earth, but their feet do not leave the ground. Could it be that these very things are unknowingly limiting your inner freedom and ease? This hidden entanglement might just be hidden in a place you've never doubted.